All right, welcome back, everybody. So today we're going to be recapping UFC London. It was quite an event. The fights weren't too good, and it looked like the stadium was falling asleep, and they started leaving halfway through the main event. But overall, it was a solid night. Did decent on the bets. We profited 3.25 units, and we'll go over the bets. We'll go over the card as we always do every single week, and we'll talk about it a little bit. So let's start from the beginning. First fight of the night, Cal Fernandez versus Guram Kutateladze. I made the oldest mistake in the book. When you have a big underdog and you think said big underdog wins, but you're a little too nervous to play the money line, so you just play a method, that's a mistake. If you think they're going to win or they can win, if you think their odds are better than what the odds indicate, you make that bet on the money line. And then if you want, you play some props as well. I just played Cal Fernandez by knockout for plus 800, and I played round one knockout for plus 2,000. Both of those almost hit. That was a 4-unit swing right there. Almost doesn't count, though, unfortunately. But at the end of the day, my read was correct. My read was that Guram, skill for skill, probably has what it takes to beat Coway, and that's why I still picked him to win the fight. And that's why I was hesitant to make the bet in terms of the money line, but he was plus 350. And I did have my concerns with Guram. I said Guram's durability is a question for me. His inactivity is a huge problem for me. And all those things seem to be true. And he had a horrible, horrible performance. I think he's a lot better than he showed in that fight, but he had a terrible performance. Coway looked great. Takedown defense on point, striking fantastic, leg kicks super dangerous. And he had a really good performance and could have made some money there, but coulda, shoulda, woulda. Instead, we lost a little bit because all I played was the knockout. Now, going to be interesting what happens next. I don't know what they do with Guram. Guram is technically only on a one-loss skid, but he fights so rarely. I don't like. Next time we're going to see him is 2026. Very well might be the case. I don't really know. He didn't look like himself. I wouldn't be shocked if this was it personally, but he'll probably come back. But it was just a really weird performance. And then Coway Fernandez looked fantastic. He's going to be around. They're probably going to give him a step up next because Guram's a pretty big name to beat. And I think he's going to keep moving up the rankings. The guy is very underrated. Everybody was calling him awful, terrible because he lost to Diakese. It turns out he's not so terrible. And one bad fight for your UFC debut doesn't mean that you're awful. After that, we had Callan Loughran versus Nathan Fletcher. Really controversial decision. Honestly, I thought the Loughran decision was fine. I don't think it was a robbery or anything like that. I didn't have a money line. I ended up playing Loughran live, untracked, of course, but like it was a close fight. Was it a good bet live? I think I took plus 130. Probably. It was a close fight. But at the end of the day, I, I think that either guy getting the decision is fine, whether it was Fletcher or Loughran. I understand why some people think Fletcher because he did do damage in that third round towards the end of the round, but Loughran did win most of that third round, in my opinion. So really depends on the judges, like it always does, and that's why it's tricky when you bet on fights that aren't going to finish. But the bet I did have tracked here was the fight goes the distance. That was parlayed with the Kavanaugh fight to go the distance at plus 126, and that did cash, so that was nice. This fight didn't really seem like it was ever going to finish. Maybe a few times, sort of, but not really. After that, we had Shauna Bannon versus Pooja Tomar. Now, this was a really crazy fight. Pooja came in there. I know a lot of people are kind of patting themselves. I had a bet on Pooja. And I know a lot of other people who bet on Pooja are patting themselves on the back saying, it's okay. You made a good bet. And then people got upset at me because in my own recap post, I said that I thought Pooja was a bad bet. And so many people got upset. They're like, why is she a bad bet? What are you saying? She wasn't a bad bet. She had her hurt. She was a bad bet because she was plus 155. So that's what? Hold on. Let me pull out my handy dandy odds converter. That's what I bet. I bet plus 155. So that means just about 40%. It's a little bit under 39.2. So 40% is the implied probability on that line, right? Do I think she wins that fight 5 out of 10 times? No, I don't. I really don't. I know that the judges gave her the first round, but I didn't. I didn't think that was the correct scorecard. I didn't think that she outstruck Shauna. She looked like she was completely lost. She didn't know what to do at range at all. Yes, she did hit harder. Her shots had more substance. I understand why people did give her the round, but I didn't think she won it. I thought she looked completely lost out there. I hated my bet the second the fight started. And then she gets the head kick, hurts this girl, doesn't let her back up, chases her to the ground, doesn't even properly like follow up punch. There's a few little moves like that, gets caught in a damn armbar, fights out of said armbar, and then stuffs herself right back into the armbar. And that's a good bet for you. Like, how are people sitting there congratulating themselves on a great bet that lost? I get those exist. I bet based on numbers. I bet based on implied probability. And even if one of my bets loses, if I thought that my read was correct and that the line was wrong, then it's still a good bet, even if it lost. But this bet was not a good bet, in my opinion. She was lost on the feet. Her ground game is abysmal. Abysmal. I don't know what other word you use when she goes in there, gets out of the armbar, and then goes right back into the armbar. Like, come on. Bad fight IQ, bad grappling, completely lost on the feet because of her reach. She can't compete with people with longer reaches. Her only thing is big shots. That's all she's got. I'm not saying she's bad or anything like that. I just think that she was a bad bet in this particular fight, and it's a bet that I don't think I should have made. And if given the opportunity to do so, I wouldn't do it again. So many people are talking like they wouldn't. I bet you money they wouldn't actually when the time would have come. After that, we had Christian Leroy Duncan versus Andre Pulayev. Not really much to take from this fight. Duncan did about what we all thought he would do. I've talked about it all week, playing the over 1.5. It was minus 150. It was a really good bet that I did not make, unfortunately. I chickened out a little bit. And honestly, I don't know why. I was very confident that it would not end early. I guess I kind of I listen to a lot of content because I drive every day to work. It's like an hour each way. So I listen to a lot of podcasts. And people kept talking about how Duncan should style on him and all that. And I don't really let people, decide my bets or anything like that. But sometimes I'll listen to things people say and be like, that's a good point. And everybody's talking about how he's levels above. And he was levels above, but he just didn't finish. And Pulayev isn't that bad. He's durable at least. And there was a lot of clinching like I thought there would be. So and that was another mistake I made, is not trusting my read. I even said I think that Duncan wins by decision, and look what happened. He wins by decision. So got to start trusting my reads. Good for Duncan. He's such a tricky guy because it looks like the UFC doesn't know how to build him up. They give him moderate competition, he wins. They give him good competition, he loses. They give him terrible competition, then he wins. And now they're going to give him another good opponent, and he's going to lose again. They have to kind of build him up a little bit differently. And he's got a funky style where he should be killing people, and he's just not. And it's interesting, but he's not going anywhere, obviously. And I'm not sure what they do with Pulayev after that. I'm not even sure who you give him to get a win. I don't think he's bad, and he does improve fight to fight, so he could probably get some wins. I'm just not sure who. After that, we had Marcin Tybura versus Mick Parkin at heavyweight. Another undefeated fighter lost their O. That was Mick Parkin this time around. And I know a lot of people were screaming robbery, robbery, robbery. I had nothing pre. I got in live a little bit at plus 150, and then it hit plus 800. And I was like, I said in the Discord, I was like, I feel like we should be playing this. And I didn't, because that was like in the end of second round or maybe beginning of the third. And that second round, I think that was the round where Parkin almost finished him. So I was like, I don't know. We might be looking at a 10-8, might be a draw. Could be Parkin wins that third. All the rounds other than that second one were pretty close. So I wasn't really sure about it. So I passed on that live bet plus 800, but Tybura ultimately gets the win. Do I think he deserved it? Honestly, I don't know. And I'm not going to sit here and try to decide if he did or if he didn't. Either way, I didn't have a bet pre. Was that live bet good? At plus 150, probably not. All things considered, he did almost get finished, but it is what it is. Parkin's not going anywhere. He's still pretty young, especially for heavyweight. He'll probably be a mainstay for a long time. And Tybura still killing it at 39 years old, man. This guy's only losing to the elite. After that, we had Lonnie Kavanaugh versus Felipe Dos Santos. Made anybody who had any kind of Kavanaugh bets was definitely sweating. I didn't have anything pre. I got in a little bit live, but nothing really crazy. And then Dos Santos starts winning the fight in the first round, did really well. And then Kavanaugh takes over. And then I got in a little bit live on Dos Santos at plus 1,000, just to hedge myself and make sure I'm good in case he did get the win after all. And obviously he lost, so that lost. But either way, tracked bet. Only thing I had there was the fight goes the distance parlayed, like I mentioned earlier, with the Colin Loughran and Nathan Fletcher fight goes. That cashed. Didn't really ever seem like it was going to finish. So there were a few times where I was nervous. There was a ton of blood going around. Kavanaugh was cut up, I'm pretty sure, like by the head or something. But he showed once again, he's a really high-level prospect. He can handle adversity. He can mix in the grappling when he feels the need to. And he's just very, very well-rounded. And I'm really excited about him being in the UFC. I think he's going to really do something in the flyweight division. And I'm pretty confident eventually he'll challenge for a title. Does he win it? I don't know. but I think he will eventually challenge it a couple years down the line. And then Felipe Dos Santos is tricky because he's so good, but he's losing pretty much all his fights, and he probably should have lost the Altamirano fight. So he's 1-3, should be 0-4. UFC might cut him, but they also might not. They keep around these fun fighters. Like Lacerda got to lose 5 times in a row, so maybe he stays. After that, we had Chris Padilla versus Jai Herbert. I don't have the energy for this. The Padilla fans hate me. Chris Padilla posts me on his Instagram. I faded the guy 3 times now, and I've lost every time. And if we're being real, depending on who his opponent is next, I'll probably do it again. I don't think he's bad. I think he's a good fighter. I just think that I thought Jai Herbert should win that fight. That's why I bet him. And personally, I thought he won that fight. Maybe I'm very biased. It's entirely possible, but I was pretty surprised by people's scorecards. Going into the third, people had a 2-zip, and I did not have it 2-zip. Now, I could be biased. I had that bet, but I don't know. I thought the wrong guy won the decision. Am I going to say it was a robbery? No, but it definitely hurt a little bit, and gave those Padilla fans and haters of mine more stuff to work with, which is always annoying, but it is what it is. Comes with the territory of doing content. Padilla's on a historical run, honestly. 3 wins, and going to be interesting to see who they give him next. And then Jai, I'm not sure what you do with Jai anymore. He's on the older side of things. After that, we had Nathaniel Wood and Morgan Charrier opening up the card. I did have a bet on Nathaniel Wood plus 165. I was pretty happy already during the walkouts because I was like, he looks way bigger than he normally does, way more filled in at 145, and he looked fantastic. He completely looked like the favorite there, won that fight very, very clearly, in my opinion. Morgan's still really good. People are probably going to give him crap for this loss now. Maybe we'll get a good line on him in his next fight, but Nathaniel Wood's just also really good, so he got it done. That was a good bet, good upset for Nathaniel Wood. And honestly, he's killing it at featherweight. I think now he's like 6-1 at featherweight. I did not like the move up for him originally, but it's working out. His power is translating. So keep doing it, and he's going to get some good matchups. I think they're definitely going to step him up next. After that, Chris Duncan fought Jordan Vucenic, and Jordan Vucenic dropped the ball, got choked out by Duncan. Pretty surprising performance from Vucenic, but another example of a guy who, on his debut, had a very close fight against the guy who everybody considers high level in Guram. Lost the fight, but kept it close, so everybody overrated him going into his next fight, and he lost to Chris Duncan. I thought that was possible. That's why I stayed away, but I was pretty confident that Vucenic would get it done anyways, but it is what it is. Duncan got the dub. Good for him. He continues to get the upsets. He was underdog his last time out, too. And we'll see what happens with Vucenic. I'm not even really sure. They're not going to cut him, but he did lose 2 times in a row already. And just sad because he's a really good fighter, and he's not going to get the credit now. After that, Alexa Thainara fought Molly McCann, subbed her in the first round. A lot of us felt like that might happen. I didn't have the balls to bet it at plus 400. I just didn't feel like I was getting enough of a good price, considering she was making her UFC debut on short notice across the world in London. But she got it done. And Molly retired, which is crazy. Molly's done out of MMA, out of UFC. She's retired. And I mean, good for her. I think she's made a good amount of money. She's had a good career. She's been in the UFC for a long time, had a lot of fights, a lot of fun fights, and the fans love her. So if it's time to hang it up, it's time to hang it up. I respect it. And it's going to be interesting to see what Thainara can do in the UFC. After that, Kevin Holland fought Gunnar Nelson, another bet that I talked about but didn't make. And not Holland. I'm glad I didn't bet Holland. I know he won, but I still don't trust him. But the bet I did want to make was fight goes the distance. I was thinking that or Gunnar Nelson decision. Passed on both, and the fight goes the distance. So it is what it is. Another spot where I really just need to trust myself more and just go for it. I kind of fell into what everyone was saying with the Nelson sub and Holland knockout. So I just chickened out and said, I'm not going to touch it. And then it goes the distance. And I missed out on plus 155 for the fight goes. And it sorry, it did almost lose. He did kind of almost finish Nelson there in the first, I believe it was, but didn't happen. But good for Kevin Holland getting back in the win column. I still don't trust him. I'm still probably never going to bet on him again, but I'm happy for him. All right. After that, we had Carlos Oberg versus Jan Blachowicz. I really thought Oberg would stand out more than that. I honestly wasn't even convinced that he won the fight. I didn't have anything on him, but I really did think that he would really show out, be a lot faster, lead on the significant strikes, and that really wasn't the case. I'm pretty sure the significant strikes were close. Jan landed the bigger shots, had him on his back foot the entire time. And it's sad for Jan. He keeps losing these close fights, like the Alex Pereira fight that I thought he won as well. And honestly, I think there's a decent argument for him to have beaten Oberg. And I was saying Oberg's going to get it done. He's going to get it done. And I'm not even convinced that he did. It's still a good win. Jan Bokovic, former champion, but he is 42. And the fact that Oberg barely beat him, it's probably not going to be champ. But I think I'm right in that he is probably going to challenge for a title at some point. Maybe not this year, maybe next year, but I think he is going to. I think what they might do is that they're probably going to do Oberg Jiri next, I think, for a title eliminator. And you got to think Jiri probably wins that. After that, we had the main event, Sean Brady versus Leon Edwards. I had 2.8 units on Sean Brady at minus 140 to win one, and he came through. He came through pretty well. Looked like a very big favorite. That first round, there were some moments where I got a little bit worried, but ultimately he got the takedowns going. I really didn't think he would sub Leon, but that was pretty cool when he got the choke in, and Paul Felder was like, guys, that's in. It's over, because he trained with him. So the fact he knew, like, once he locked in that spot, he was like, oh, it's done. And in fact, it was done. Sean Brady got it done. And he's this much closer to the title shot. I think they're probably he still has a few fights to go before a title shot, maybe one. Maybe they'll do like him versus Ian Gary, or him versus, I don't know, who else is at welterweight? Michael Morales, maybe. But I don't know if Michael Morales has worked up there yet. But someone like that. I don't think they're going to do Pratesh after Jeff Neal, because Brady could beat Pratesh, and I think they want to get Pratesh to a title shot. So I doubt they make that. I think they're going to do Brady and Ian Gary, but we'll see. Good for Sean Brady, though. Definitely improving. He's come a long way from that loss to Bilal, and used to be a non-believer, but I believe in Sean Brady now. And with Leon Edwards, he probably retires, or because at this point you're a gatekeeper. He's never going to see the title picture again. And at this point, I'm not even sure like what they do with him. He'll probably still beat most of the division, but does he want to do that? Does he want to gatekeep? I don't really know. So we'll see what happens there. But thank you guys for tuning in. That's UFC London. Total profit on the day for us was plus 3.25 units. If you want my bets, my notes, my breakdowns, that's all my Discord. It is no longer free. It's $10 to subscribe. The link is in the description of this video. It's in my bio for YouTube. You can also find it on Twitter, or you can DM me anywhere on any socials and ask me for it, and I'll give you the link. And you can use the promo code Couch Warrior Pod for 20% off for your first month, and check it out. Thank you guys. I'll catch you next time.